Hey guys, welcome to my Lost Weapons series. This will be a two-part series where I divulge weapons that I think are worth farming for, that have decent rolls and are easy to obtain, and are weapons that will more than likely be going away once the final shape launches on June 4th of 2024. I just wanted to say that not all these weapons are, your cream of the crop weapons, but they are all at RNG based, and I will be having a second video of these that will divulge what weapons, I think are viable from the different seasons this year. But with that, I'm going to kind of pan through these and I'm going to make sure that I make it clear exactly what roles you should be looking for and why you want these weapons. Looking at the first weapon that we have, I am going to say the deadpan delivery is definitely worth farming if you don't have a PvE arc shotgun. And the reason for this is all because of 1-2 punch. 1-2 punch, while it's received nerfs in the past, is still very viable, especially on your hunter cross counter builds, even your titan builds that you're using arc on. 1-2 punch, you can consistently put out high damage on close range targets and even bosses. Should it be a close range boss and you don't want to blow yourself up, or you want to do some extra hot swapping damage. Now, the second perk that you would want to look for on this kind of depends. If you really want a hot swapping build to go with your arc build, you would be going with elemental capacitor more than likely. But if you don't want to be hot swapping and that sort of thing, you can also go with overflow. Now, overflow obviously doubles the magazine. You can have, if you have just a regular mag, you will have 8 in the magazine once it is overflowed. But me personally, if I were going for the role that I'm going for on this that I have been unable to get, would be overflow 1-2 punch with extended mag, bumping up to 10 in the magazine. So you can still hot swap with this weapon. With overflow. The reason why elemental is obviously so good is that it gives you that 50 handling. And with this being an aggressive frame, it does have slower ready and stow speeds. Obviously, you don't have to aim this weapon, but if you do have elemental capacitor, you have that spicy 76 base handling. And then to me, if you are looking for a specific barrel, you really want Barrel Shroud. Barrel Shroud being because it obviously gives the most handling of any barrel, and the stability doesn't really matter too much. And in a weapon like this, no other stat really matters besides your handling um, over your perks. But obviously, you want extended mag because it gives the most in the magazine, and you're not going to have to worry about reloading if you have overflow. uh, Um, because more than likely you're not going to use all 10 shots in a damage phase, depending on the boss that you're fighting against. And then 1-2 punches is going to be your melee damage that you'll be doing to the boss. But other than that, the shotgun is not a PvP shotgun. You are going to want to go with Matador or Found Verdict for your arc PvP shotguns. And that is all I have to say about this weapon. Moving on, the next weapon we are going to cover is Nightshade. Nightshade you can also get from the same source, which we will go over at the end of the video. Nightshade is a strand 450 lightweight pulse rifle. And the reason why I think that this is a pretty good weapon is that it has numerous roles, unlike before, that you can use for both PvP and PvE. Obviously, if you're looking at a PvP build, you are more than likely going to go with either Head Seeker or Kill Clip. Now, lightweight pulses aren't the cream of the crop. They do have a lower TTK of 0.87, with anything tier 10 and lower. Obviously, 3 bursts, you're going to have to hit mostly crits, and it's not your cream of the crop, but they have decent range. You move faster. They are a good run and gun option, I feel like, where you can get around the map quicker because of their lightweight frame. And this gun has numerous perks. Like I said, you can go with Head Seeker, so it's easier to hit people in the head, and it makes it a little bit more forgiving. Personally, the role that I am going for is I am going for Kill Clip with Keep Away. This is because if you have Keep Away and Kill Clip active, you obviously have a pretty easy 3-round burst where it's seven bullets to kill somebody. And, your reload speed is pretty high at this point, and you can kill people pretty quickly. I wouldn't, for PvE personally on this gun, I would be going for like Kill Clip since you can refresh it through the kills and that sort of thing. You could also go for Collective Action for those of you that like picking up fire sprites, void breaches, and then various other class ability generations. But other than that, I wouldn't go for hatchling, and the main reason for that is sometimes on your burst you might get that non-crit kill, and I think hatchling is more of a precision weapon type of thing. Where on these 450s, not that they have a lot of kick or are easy to control, but they're also just not the best for PvE right now. And overall, I think these 450s are kind of overshadowed by other weapons in PvP, but I think that it is a decent and fun role that I have used, and I have a couple in my vault right now that I like to use in PvP. And you could also go with honestly Under Pressure and Kill and Head Seeker to me, where you're not going to have to constantly reload and you're going to get really good accuracy type of thing. And I guess the other thing that I'll say about this weapon that makes it pretty good is that Nadir Focus procs really well with it. This thing gives you more range and the accuracy comb based on the number of hits. So if you are continuing to gun down people, then you can easily have Under Pressure for the bottom part of the magazine to give you even more decreased accuracy cone size with Nadir Focus, and it's going to be really easy and crispy to hit people and get the first shot off on them, which I think is the trick to 450s. You really want to be able to get the first shot and then let the gun do work. But Nadir Focus to me is one of the better origin traits that they've introduced this year, where it feels really nice on almost any gun. Doesn't really matter on Deadpan like the gun that we just analyzed, because you don't really need more range when you're firing point blank or decreased cone size, to be honest with you. But that does it for analyzing Nightshade. The next weapon that I'm going to show us is called the Showrunner, a 900 RPM lightweight submachine gun. Now, what makes this gun to me kind of special isn't the fact that it has target lock, but the fact that it has such a big magazine size. And this is good merely because you can get overflow on this. You proc this and you get 72 just off of, no increase from the mag. And then you can combine that with tremors. Now, I know right now kinetic tremors is not the most desirable PvE perk, but I just have a feeling that in the future they may buff this because, to be quite honest, it's underwhelming right now. You can do good work with it, and I think that it could be borderline really good depending on the weapon. And obviously, if you're looking at this for some machine guns, it is 14 bullets, but on a 900 RPM, that doesn't really take much to proc. And you can obviously proc this quite a bit with overflow, 72 in the mag. On the base mag, we can even, here, I'll pull this up. You know, if we do 72 divided by, wait, if we do 72 divided by, what was it, 14 here, we clearly have, we can proc tremors 5 times. Now, if you're looking to have the absolute biggest mag you can have, you can obviously throw on extended mag, and then that brings up your magazine up to 78. You only get 6 extra shots, which I don't think is anything to sing home about. And you're obviously not going to be able to proc tremors another time, but you're not going to have to reload this weapon. And I think this weapon could really shine if they bring back Overload SMG or something like that with kinetic tremors, so you can overload, you can proc it against overloads and then swap to another harder hitting weapon, and you're gonna have him kind of softened up because of tremors. And I really do think that they're gonna buff this at some point, because the damage it does right now is just it's extremely lackluster. And I've had one with this and I've used it, and I think it's fine in lower end content, but if they want to make this perk viable in higher end content, then I think that they're going to have to buff it quite a bit. But maybe it's weaker because of the fact that you don't need a kill to proc it, like Arc Jolt, or you know, even a solar weapon kill like Incandescent or something like that, or making things volatile with destabilizing. But in terms of, you know, kinetic viability, I think that this needs to get buffed. The one other perk that I would like to mention that I think is really fun and that I have on one of my weapons that you can use in PvE, that's kind of an alternate to this, that makes this weapon fun, is Grave Robber with Swash. Now, if you already have an SMG with this, you don't really need to go for it, to be honest. But obviously, looking at this, if you are crafty with your melees, which it doesn't even have to be a charged melee, you can get this. You can obviously have the low TTK of 0.53, where you are absolutely beaming these guys. And then you can reload with Grave Robber. But other than that, there's really, to me, I don't think that you would really want target lock on this. I think that if you have an Immortal or you have the Stasis, I forget, Unending Tempest, they utilize target lock a lot better because it has to be a percentage of the magazine. And like I said, even with the base magazine, you've got 36 shots, so you're really not going to be proccing target lock. So unless you plan on using this maybe in PvE or something, you know, which would be kind of odd to me, I don't think you're going to be wailing into a target, you know, for that long. You're still better off using Swashbuckler because you can proc that pretty easy, reload, beam, and you get 33.3% damage increase. But Showrunner to me feels really good. It's got that Shira's aesthetic, and when I've used it, I just think that overall it's kind of a well-rounded gun. It's fun, 900, lightweight, moving around for gun and run. And I guess, you know, one other perk I would like to mention that, you know, could be really fun if you're one that likes to spend time in the air is you go with the dynamic sway and air assault, you know, because obviously kind of the same thing with, kind of similar to how I said Under Pressure worked with Nightshade, dynamic sway works well with Nadir Focus, where you don't get too much more range, but you're not penalized and you'll be hitting all of your shots, whether you're sliding around corners, jumping up above people, beaming them who are below you. This to me, you know, could be really fun, where it's like, oh yeah, you can have a build for in the air with this gun. This gun has a good amount of, you know, different viability based on play style, I feel like, which is overlooked, I think, in today's, you know, Crucible, and then, I mean, probably not so much in PvE. But moving on to our last weapon, I do think the Persuader is a fine weapon. Another weapon from Season of the Witch, where I got my god roll, and I'll tell you guys, the god roll to me is rapid hit, precision instrument, which obviously work in tandem. And if you're getting this, you're going to have the max reload speed, but also get the stability along with it. And while it's a rapid fire frame and they don't have much kick, you're going to be able to hit your precision shots pretty well, especially considering this one also has the same origin trait. But I also have, the base magazine is a 6. I think that if you're really serious about swapping, or reloading this thing and doing the most with it, you want extended mag, which, showing this, if you land your precision hits, which obviously this whole thing is if you can land your precision hits on like a boss, you won't have to worry about the negative reload speed of extended mag because you're still at 97. And then to me, the barrel is kind of your own choosing. If you want something that gives a lot of handling, if you're going to swap this with something, who knows, you'll go with the handling, a fluted barrel for its 20 or its 15 handling it gives you, so you can draw this weapon out quicker. Or you could go with corkscrew for all around, gives you a little bit of range, for that stickiness, little stability and handling. But overall, I think for this weapon, you would obviously want a handling masterwork type of thing because it obviously doesn't have snapshot. But overall, I think this is the only roll you would go for with this. I don't know why you would try to use this lightweight, when you have other guns that are adaptives and aggressives for PvP that have like snapshot and opening shot on them. I guess you could go with a keep away opening shot on this and then, try to get as much handling as you can. Looking at this, or I mean, you wouldn't probably want this. Most people want snapshot, but you do get that, really accurate shot with this. But to me, with the buff 2 snipers, I think that you're mainly using these for some sort of damage cycling DPS. And if you pair this Persuader as it's a void, you could easily do volatile rounds with it, be procking that for additional damage. But overall, I think that you're really going to want to go with, and I guess if you're far enough away, you could really do keep away precision so that you have that inherent forgiveness. And then the reload speed is still really good. So you don't have to go for rapid hit, even though obviously it would be very easy to use because rapid hits, they fire in quick succession. And if you hit every one, you're going to be able to stack 5 on this with the extended mag that we talked about, with 7 shots. And the reserves on these are good. So if you need a sniper for who knows what boss in the future, we don't know what we're going to face in the final shape raid, whether it's going to be a really heavy precision damage or anything like that where you're going to need a precision weapon, but best be prepared for that sort of thing. Now, going and looking in game, obviously these weapons, you go to the helm, you go to the Season of the Witch area, and you focus for 1,000 glimmer and 2 Ingrams from that. And I'll show you guys, I'll focus some right now because like I said, I'm still trying to get the showrunner as well as the deadpan with tremors. And I guess one other fun fact for this is that, oh, I'm going the wrong way. One other fun fact for this is that you don't really focus farm these. You essentially grab the relic from that we had last season, which was the Acolyte staff, which they will have for you here, and you just passively play the game, make sure you watch how many engrams you have on here, because you can only have up to 99, and you focus in through here the recovered red war weapons that are technically reprised, but with an origin trait that is really good in Nadir focus. And you just focus away, and it's pretty easy to do. You obviously can't focus a single weapon, unfortunately, but there is only 4 weapons here, and as you can see, I've already gotten at least 1 to drop of each thing, and you can do so with, if you're doing 99 at a time, you're gonna get 49 weapons out of here, from what you've focused. And I guess I'll look over these weapons real quick just to kind of give you guys a sense of like, each thing. And obviously these weapons, the nice thing about them is they are only 6 perks in each column, so it's not incredibly hard to get the perks you want, even on limited rolls. But here we've got some going to the postmaster now. That's not one of them. So we've got persuader, repulse press, triple tap, obviously kind of bad. Oh, and here, funny enough, I'm recording a video on this. Obviously, the thing with this roll is that we do have appended meg, which increases the magazine size as well. You could also go with that. And we have barrel shroud. This one actually looks like one that I'll end up keeping. I haven't gotten this roll specifically. Now, if you get a 1-2 punch, I would just keep it. But yeah, this is kind of crazy that I get the roll on the video I'm making about this weapon, which is good. And if you really do need an arc shotgun and you don't want to farm Matador or Found Verdict, you could go for, there are some rolls you could go for. Surplus 1-2 would be kind of funny in PvP. But looking at these other ones, maybe you go with Killing Wind to increase the range. This one, this is kind of a funny roll, but you could even, with Assault Mag, you could even do this if you're just trying to unload your shotgun into a single target and you don't want to combo melees into it, but these weapons, they kind of have, some fun and good rolls at the end of the day. But let me look at this overflow air assault, and obviously with these, nightshade under pressure hatchling, probably not. Nightshade heating up kill clip, this one might be a little nice if you kill a couple guys and then you reload and kill a third type of thing. Wouldn't be my first roll. Keep away hatchling, it could probably make it work type of thing. But yeah, even, I don't know if you guys like additional zoom, but you could still run rangefinder to me with Nadir focus, and it would be kind of like old rangefinder in a way, where you're getting the accuracy and you're getting the zoom with it, so it's kind of, obviously it's not old rangefinder, but you combine it with this and it's like you have the forgiveness with the range, which I guess I failed to mention type of thing. But these weapons, they have some pretty good rolls to me. They have decent stats, I feel like, on these weapons. But otherwise, at the end of the day, even if you're not getting weapons from this, you'll get gunsmith rep, from them. And it's an easy, kind of gunsmith rep farm at the end of the day if you have any weapons you want to focus through there. But overall, these weapons are pretty fun. I think that, a lot of weapons get overlooked. I think that the other thing too, I guess, with the Nightshade is that we don't have, a ton of strand weapons. And I think there's only like one other strand pulse in the game or something like that. And overall, I think that they have a spot to be used in potential builds. And that's why I wanted to make this video about them. But otherwise, I want to thank you guys for watching. And if you leave a like, subscribe, and comment on what you think or whether you like these weapons, I would love to talk about them more in the comments. But thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.